Welcome to Black Children's Books Read Aloud. Just Like You, written by Crystal Jordan. Zachariah was a joyful baby boy from birth. He was the pure definition of a beautiful black baby, with very curly hair and lovely melanin skin. He also had a bright smile that would light up your day, even if all wasn't going well. Zachariah was diagnosed at the age of 2 with autism. He is nonverbal, unable to speak or form words like other children his age. His parents were very shocked by the doctor's diagnosis of their son. His mom, Miss Jordan, was mostly sad, but always prayed and believed that Zachariah would turn out to be an amazing boy. Despite her son's diagnosis, she knew he was special and is committed to always showing Zachariah how much he was loved. He always had a way of bringing happiness and life into his room. He wasn't a boy of many words, but that did not stop him from expressing himself through art. He was full of life and joy. You may ask, why didn't he talk much? The little boy mostly communicated using nonverbal cues and pointing gestures. For example, when he was happy, he would jump up and down. He would clap his hands and tap his fingers, or when sad, he would have a meltdown. Miss Jordan worked hard for months to get Zachariah into school. Well, the day has finally come, and Zachariah's first day has arrived. Miss Jordan was incredibly excited for her little boy to mingle and make new play buddies. At the same time, however, she was scared that most kids would not understand her baby boy and might make fun of him. "And who do we have here?" asked an excited Mrs. Patience, the kindergarten teacher. Mrs. Patience was going to be Zachariah's class teacher. The boy instantly liked his new teacher and went straight to hug her. He kept pointing at her glasses and looked back at his parents. "Oh, haha, don't worry, Mrs. Patience. I think Zachariah is trying to say he really likes your glasses," explained Miss Jordan. "It's okay. I read his IEP report, and I'm aware that he is on the spectrum. Zachariah is in good hands, and he will have speech therapy twice a week." Zachariah went to a seat in the corner away from the other children, while Mrs. Patience began talking to Miss Jordan about her concerns for the school year. Zachariah was diagnosed with nonverbal autism at 2 years old. He can barely say any words. His speech isn't as developed as it should be, said Mrs. Jordan. She tried to keep herself from crying, but Mrs. Patience placed her hand on her shoulder to calm her down. "I know what you are going through. I have a nephew just like him. The boy is such a delight to the family, and Zachariah looks like a joyful baby boy too. I took some time to look over his IEP report, and we are going to start working on his goals today. Don't worry, Miss Jordan. Zachariah is in good hands." I love the fact that this has never stopped him from being a happy kid. I feel much better knowing that you have taken the time to go over his report, and it shows me that you would take care of my boy, replied Miss Jordan. "Aha! Is this for me, Zachariah? Why, thank you, little angel. This is beautiful. Did you draw it?" asked an impressed Mrs. Patience. Zachariah nodded with a big smile on his face. He brought with him a pretty drawing of a lily for his class teacher. The boy may not have been a chatterbox, but he was loud when it came to art. Holding back tears of joy, his parents waved goodbye. They were just happy to see their boy excited about learning. Mrs. Patience took hold of Zachariah's hand and walked into the classroom. "Good morning, class. I have a new friend for you. Say hi to Zachariah." "Good morning, Mrs. Patience." "Hello, Zachariah. Welcome to our class. It is fun to be here, and we hope you enjoy," replied the little boys and girls in unison. Zachariah just looked around and grabbed his teacher's leg. Zachariah is nonverbal and on the spectrum. He has very few words. "Don't be shy, Zachariah." "We are nice people," shouted Jax, his new desk mate. The class started by introducing themselves to their new classmate. It was now Zachariah's turn, and he was extremely nervous. He started stimming and jumping up and down. It was playtime and the kids began to play with each other, but Zachariah went to the corner to play with his toys alone. See, Zachariah does not play with other kids. Sometimes he plays next to the kids, but does not interact with them. Jax walked up to Zachariah and introduced himself. "Hey, my name is Jax." He sat next to Zachariah, who continued playing with his blocks. Jax helped Zachariah stack the blocks so tall that they fell. Both boys laughed so much. Liam came over to help them clean up, since Mrs. Patience said that playtime was almost done. All kids began to clean up and Mrs. Patience played some music. Zachariah loved music and he started to dance. He closed his eyes and danced to the beat of the song. The other students were so amazed that they started shouting and clapping. Jax and Liam, who were good friends, talked about how they would make Zachariah their new best friend. They thought he was so cool. "I think Zachariah is cool," shouted a classmate. "You go, Zachariah! You are so cool!" shouted Jax. Mrs. Patience was completely shocked that Zachariah was doing so well on his first day. She was impressed. He may not use many words, but he is indeed special. All the kids surrounded Zachariah, hugged him, and gave him high fives. And just like that, he became the most popular boy in class. Mrs. Patience said, "Class, it's time to sit," a phrase that Zachariah was used to hearing since he had joined ABA therapy. Zachariah quickly went to sit at his assigned seat. As the class returned to their seats, everyone was already on their feet, clapping and chanting, "Zachariah is the coolest, forget about the rest." At 10 a.m., the break bell rang. Jax and Liam walked to Zachariah and offered to show him around the school. They were very friendly and patient with him, and instantly became his friends. Zachariah smiled, clapped his hands, and using his hands, he made a love heart sign. It was his way of saying thank you, and that he also loved his classmates. They all went to play at the swings together. Although Mrs. Patience kept a close eye on Zachariah, Jax and Liam took very good care of their new friend. Zachariah was smiling, laughing, and playing aside with the other kids. It was indeed a great first day at school. See, Zachariah is just like you, but he is just special. Make sure you smash that like button and subscribe. Most importantly, please support the author by purchasing their book. Until next time.